What do you look for in an email service? For most of us, it's just a way to send messages. But for journalists, activists, and whistleblowers, it's a lifeline. It needs to be a digital fortress, a safe haven where they can communicate without fear of being watched. One company, Proton Mail, built its entire brand on this promise. Based in Switzerland, it markets itself as a neutral and safe haven for your personal data, committed to defending your freedom. Newsrooms like The Intercept and the Boston Globe trust it for anonymous tips. But what happens when that fortress suddenly locks its gates on its very people it claims to protect? Recently, two journalists found out the hard way, and their story raises serious questions about whether the promises of private tech companies should be blindly trusted. Our story begins with a deep dive investigation into government cybersecurity. Two journalists publishing under the names Saber and Cyborg were working on a major story for the long-running hacker magazine, Phrack. They had uncovered a sophisticated hacking operation that had infiltrated critical South Korean government networks, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the military's Defense Counterintelligence Command. The journalists believed that the attack was the work of Kimsuky, a notorious state-backed hacking group from North Korea. Now, when you discover a security flaw of this magnitude, you don't just blast it out to the world. The professional and ethical approach is called responsible disclosure. You privately notify the organizations that have been hacked so they can fix the vulnerabilities before you publish your findings. Saber and Cyborg did exactly that. They set up a brand new dedicated Proton Mail account specifically to coordinate these warnings. They sent notifications to the affected South Korean agencies and to cybersecurity organizations like the Korea Internet and Security Agency, or KISA. They were so thorough that one of these agencies, KR-CERT, even wrote back thanking them for their work. They did everything by the book. A week after their article appeared in the print version of Phrack, and just before it was released online, something went wrong. Saber and Cyborg tried to log into their Proton account they had used for the responsible disclosure. They were blocked. The account had been suspended. A day later, it got worse. Saber discovered his personal Proton Mail account, his own private email, had also been suspended. The only reason given was a vague notice about a potential policy violation. The suspension notice directed them to Proton's abuse appeals form. Saber filled it out immediately, hoping to clear up what he assumed was a mistake. After the story blew up on social media, Proton finally responded, stating that the accounts had violated their terms in a malicious manner. The email response concluded with a chilling final sentence. We consider that allowing access to your account will cause further damage to our servers. Therefore, we'll keep the account suspended. No more details, no further appeal. The door was slammed shut. For weeks, the journalists and their editors at Phrack tried to resolve this privately. An editor reached out to Proton on August 22nd, explaining the situation and clarifying that no hacked data had ever passed through the accounts. They received no response. They sent a follow-up email on September 6th. Again, silence. Frustrated and out of options, Phrack took the issue public on September 9th. They posted on X, tagging Proton's official account and asking, "Why are you canceling journalists and ghosting us? Need help calibrating your moral compass?" The post quickly went viral. Suddenly, Proton was no longer silent. The next day, the company's official account gave a reply on Reddit. They claimed they had been alerted by CERT that certain accounts were being misused by hackers. A CERT is a computer emergency response team, basically a country's official team of cybersecurity experts. Proton said this alert led to a cluster of accounts being disabled. They emphasized that because their service is encrypted, they can't see the content of emails, and can't always know when their anti-abuse measures inadvertently affect legitimate activism. They never said which country's CERT had made the complaint. Later that same day, after the public backlash had reached a boiling point, Proton's founder and CEO Andy Yang posted on X that 2 accounts had been reinstated, but others remained suspended. But there was no explanation for why they were suspended in the first place, other than vaguely alluding to a terms of service violation. The impact on the journalists was severe. Phrack stated that the account suspensions meant the authors couldn't answer media requests about their own article. More importantly, their responsible disclosure process, the crucial work of helping the South Korean government fix its security flaws, was, in their words, denied and ruined by Proton. This incident leaves many wondering, was this just a one-off mistake, or is it part of a larger pattern? Can Proton still be trusted as a secure and neutral email provider? In 2021, Proton, which had long advertised a no IP logs policy, was compelled by Swiss authorities to log the IP address of a French climate activist, leading to the person's arrest. After being caught, the company retroactively changed its privacy policy. Since then, their own transparency reports show they honored thousands of data requests from authorities every year. Critics point out that while Proton markets Swiss privacy, Switzerland has legal assistance treaties with over 70 countries, making it far from a safe data haven. Critics also highlight technical issues, calling Proton's model a security theater. While they advertise end-to-end encryption, that only truly applies between two Proton users. Emails to Gmail or other providers aren't fully protected, and their zero-access claim, which says even they can't read your emails, ultimately requires you to trust that they won't or can't be forced to change the code on their servers. So what are we left with? We have a company that built its name on guaranteeing privacy and secure communications, whether you're a journalist or a dissident. Yet when faced with a complaint from an unnamed government agency, it disabled accounts of journalists doing critical security work. They ignored private appeals for weeks and only reversed their decision after a wave of public outcry on social media. In a statement, Proton said this situation has unfortunately been blown out of proportion. But for the users who rely on these tools for their safety and their work, the stakes couldn't be higher. This incident forces us to ask some hard questions. How much trust should we place in centralized services that market absolute privacy? And what happens when a company's legal obligations or its own automated systems conflict with its promises to users? For journalists, activists, and anyone concerned about privacy, this story is a stark reminder that a company's marketing may be stronger than its own policies. True security and trust are proven through actions, transparency, and accountability. So what do you think? Has this incident changed how you see Proton or other privacy-focused services? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this report insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to CyberInsider for more deep dives into stories shaping our digital world. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.